Hello, hello. Welcome to the live stream. Today, we're going to be covering a couple of different topics, one of which is going to be what tactical marketing strategies can you use today, whether that's you're facing COVID-19 coronavirus or you're kind of facing the economic downturn that's going on, if you're in an industry that's thriving, or maybe kind of took a punch to the gut the last couple of weeks or months. So we're going to be actually doing a little bit of screen sharing to actually show you what our company is doing, Online Growth Systems, and what we're doing for some of our clients, and what is working and what isn't. Because I was part of a few happy hours and a few digital Zoom conferences the last few weeks, and what I keep hearing is a lot of fluff and a lot of people kind of saying, "Oh, this is going on and this is going on," but it's rare that you actually hear somebody say, what's actually working, step one, step two, step three. We're actually gonna be doing some screen shares. And of course, if you can see here on the banner below, if you have any questions, this is a live stream. So feel free to ask those questions. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, I will be able to see those comments and I can actually pull them up on screen, and you can get featured there. And I will be happy to answer those questions if you have a tactical question. So with that note, I've actually want to kind of kick off with let's hide that. So I want to kick off with a few books that I've been reading that we're going to kind of talk about the approach that we're having these conversations with our clients and how that approach is different than what their competitors are doing. So one thing that we're looking at is we're having conversations with our clients. We're sitting down, or not sitting down, we're doing a Zoom call, and we say, what are your competitors doing? What is getting the most, what's getting the most engagement? And what have we done in the past that we could double down on today that would work really well? Here's, tactical tip number one. I'm going to be doing this in real time. Tactical tip number one is live streaming. Live streaming. Why is live streaming working for a lot of our clients? Because it's quick, it's affordable, you can, and it's engaging with your audience. So right now we're doing a live stream, so I'm able to see your guys' comments in real time, and it's low production, right? So instead of spending $10,000 producing this kick-ass video, we can just jump on a live stream and get it done for just the cost of your time, right? The cost of your time. And I mean, the software that we're using, that I'm using right now, looks great. We recommend it for a lot of our clients. We do a little bit of custom branding work. like here you can see the logo on my Growth Systems, right? We do that with a lot of our clients. So the reason that live streaming is working a lot better today is because people are consuming so much more in the last few weeks than they have the last few months, right? So the daily active users on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube has skyrocketed. And we've seen that not just on the social platforms, but in a lot of our clients' businesses too. Website traffic and e-commerce sales are looking at we're seeing the same numbers as Black Friday. Black Friday. Okay, we've got, those are some of our two biggest niches that we play in as far as our clientele are SaaS companies, so software as a service, right? So software companies and e-commerce businesses, right? Those are our two. I mean, we play with a lot of different businesses, financial people, hospital clinics, you name it. But those two we do a lot of business in, and both of those industries have seen an explosion in traffic and an explosion in conversion rates. Some of our clients have had their best quarter, you know what I mean, in Q1 and in continuing into Q2. So hopefully you guys can't hear the sirens outside. It's so nice out that I had to open the windows. But so one thing that we're doing is we're looking at how can we get more of that traffic from social, because it's experiencing such high growth right now, over to our website to get those kind of revenue, right? Whether it's you got to book an appointment if you're B2B, or if you're a dentist or something, a consultation. If you're an e-commerce person, a company, how can you get those people from your social media? Or maybe they don't even follow you at all. How can you get them from social media to your website and actually convert? Add something to their cart and become a customer. And then you can, then you do the, post funnel thing, and you nurture them and, make them customers for life and get repeat business and upsells and cross sells. And there's a whole end of this, the funnel. A lot of companies actually look at funnels. Let's see if we can do this is perfect for us to do a screen share. As easy as with two, blah, blah, blah. I'm reading this in real time. Dang. There's no whiteboard feature. I'm so used to Zoom calls. Okay, let's see if I can draw it out with some paper. So a lot of companies have a sales funnel or a marketing funnel that looks like a funnel. It's one-sided, but really the best funnels are actually shaped like an hourglass, right? So a lot of companies say, yeah, you've got your traffic. This is your funnel. Oh, this is going to be difficult. So you've got your traffic, right? They've never heard of you before. They come into your funnel. Then the first tier is your website, right? Then the next tier is maybe they read your about page or something. Then they book an appointment. They book with you, right? Then they maybe go to your checkout, right? And then when they come out of the funnel, now the pen's upside down, so it's running out of ink. This is not working. That's where dollars come in. Come on. But the best funnels, the ones that we build for our clients, are actually a mirror image of that. So they actually look like an hourglass shape, because let's just use that same drawing because I don't know how the ink's going to last. So you still do this kind of strategy, you know what I mean? Whether it's advertising or it's social media marketing or email campaigns or whatever it is that you use to get, which this is mirrored. Okay. However it is that you get, people from what we call oblivion, people who have never heard of you, never done business with you. They've never seen your brand. There's zero awareness, zero brand awareness. How do you get them to follow you on social or see your first post on social or see your first email campaign or whatever, and then get them through this funnel to the point where they become profitable? But then what half the companies are missing out on is this other half of the funnel that looks like that. Then you send them an email, like a thank you, right? Thanks. Then you send them a code, right? Or something like that that says, hey, come do more business with us, right? Then you send them another thing that says, hey, we'd love to get you on our subscription plan, right? So instead of doing a one-time purchase, a one-time transaction, instead of buying one Disney movie, they get you on Disney Plus, right? So they want to get you on a subscription model. That's when you start getting that recurring revenue, right? That's when you start experiencing exponential growth. Then at the bottom of this funnel, just like how there was a transaction at the bottom of this funnel, the objective of people coming out of the bottom of this funnel is guess what it is? Referrals, right? Referrals or word of mouth, positive brand recognition, people telling their friends about products, right? So then what that deliverable looks like at the bottom of this funnel come on, ink, is essentially you want them to circle and send people back to the top of this one. And this continues and continues and continues over and over. So that's one thing that, and that's not necessarily something that's particular to COVID-19 or the economic downturn. You should be doing that whether it's boom or bust, right? But I just wanted to explain that to some people because it's a tactical piece of advice that you should be doing. And if you're already doing it, that's awesome. There's always ways to improve it. A/B split testing has been working fantastic. Continue to double down on that. But to get back to what I was talking about here, live streaming, the reason live streaming is becoming more popular is because there's more users, right? So there's more people consuming content. People are looking for more quantity than quality right now. People's expectations are lowering of the quality of content. That doesn't mean that your content is total crap, right? And their expectations for branding is at an all-time high, right? But the quality, you don't need a full-time, you don't need a Hollywood crew to produce a bunch of videos right now to really hone in a message and build a relationship with your potential customers. That's why live streaming is working so well right now, right? So the more volume of output you can have, the better your online presence is going to be, the faster you're going to build up your audience, the faster that you can convert that audience into a paying customer, a client, book a meeting, a referral, right? So that's something that we're recommending to a lot of our clients right now that are doing marketing, that live streaming is going to be something that they should double down on and focus on. So now here's the question of, what if I don't feel comfortable on camera? What if I'm not comfortable being the personality, answering Q&A in real time, kind of talking for 15, 20 minutes? You know what I mean? Well, first of all, that's the first objection is you don't have to do an hour-long live stream. You can do a 10-minute live stream. You know what I mean? And just that touch point with your customers is going to be huge. And if you don't feel like you have the personality, the bubbly personality that people are going to like to watch, look for somebody internally on your team. There's a lot of people that might work for you that would be a great person to put on camera. If you are a small business and you don't think that's the case, here's another thing to consider is you don't have to be in the spotlight during the live stream. You can be the leader, the facilitator, right? So you can bring on other clients that you've worked with that are happy to work with you and say, hey, instead of giving me a video testimonial, would you be interested in jumping on a live stream with me and just talking about, the relationship we've had the last few weeks and how we've helped, do ABC, whether if you're a dentist, hey, would you mind coming on showing those pearly whites on camera with me? You know what I mean? So that's something that you can consider is ask your clients, ask your team to jump on with you. You don't have to be a single person on the live stream that you're doing. So that's tactical tip number 2. So number 1 was build an hourglass shaped funnel, like in the drawing that I showed, right? Hourglass shaped funnel. And then do a lot of split testing right now because that's going to be huge. Tactical tip number 2 is to do the live streaming because people are looking at quantity over quantity. And tip number 3, I want to some books fell on the floor before, if you were watching from before, but let me pick them up. There are 3 books here that I want to share with you that I've been, I've read these with the exception of Built to Serve because it's brand new, but these other 2 I read a couple years ago. And I wanted to share them with you because there are tips in here that are tried and true that today are working better than ever. So we'll start off with the good old Sam Walton, Made in America. And whether you're pro Walmart or anti Walmart based on their business practices, regardless of what you think of Sam Walton or Walmart Corporation, there's tips in here that you can learn from. Okay. If you look at Forbes 500, the Forbes list or top 100 billionaires and whatever, like 5 or 6 of his descendants are on that list. They're like in the top 20. Okay. If you accumulated their wealth, maybe I don't know if they for sure, but up until recently, I think they would even surpass Jeff Bezos. They would be cumulatively number 1 globally. And they've been around for years and years and years and years. This is something that started in the, 60s or something. I don't remember. 50s maybe. Anyway, it's been a couple years since I read that book. But the tactical tip that I want to give from this book is pricing. Pricing works. Pricing works. So, of course, if you are the premium in your industry, you are the go-to, you are the gold standard, you're the Cadillac, you're the Gucci belt, right? You want to maintain that brand authority and that brand quality. But if you aren't the Cadillac of your industry, one thing that you can do to gain a lot of market share right now is compete on pricing. And I know that sounds like a crappy answer that you probably don't want to hear right now, but a lot of people are price shopping right now, right? A lot of companies, whether it's individuals, so if you're B2C or B2B, that is a tactic that you can start playing with that will have impact on your top line and your bottom line, right? So your profitability might go down, but your revenue is going to go up. So you have to kind of play the balance of that line. So some of our clients have been to maintain the brand authority of what those products normally cost. Instead of just lowering the pricing, what they've been doing is offering discounts. They've been offering coupon codes. Okay. Buy one, get the next one 50% off. At the end of the day, that's really only a 25% discount, right? So there's the verbalizing, the copywriting, right? That you're communicating that is buy one, get one 50% off. 50% sounds a lot sexier than 25% off your whole cart, right? So the way that you communicate it matters, but offering those discounts will actually work. That's something that we've been experimenting with a lot of our e-commerce clients, and it's been converting like crazy. So play that card, right? There's no shame in that. Next book I want to mention is Giftology. Giftology is a book by John Ruhlin. He's a friend of mine. He's going to be actually on the Online Growth System show, the Dickie P show here coming up in the next few months. We're going to be recording his episode. So I met him a couple months ago, and this book has just been fantastic. So the biggest takeaway from marketing here, and this is totally shooting myself in the foot for Online Growth Systems because we do not offer this service. But, we want to provide your value and we want to let you know what's working and what's not working right now. That's what the point of this live stream is. Gift giving is working right now. If you are B2B, consider taking a little bit of your sales budget, your marketing budget. What was super easy for us is our meal budget is not being used right now. I have a budget, Online Growth Systems has a budget to take clients out for dinner. we're not using that budget right now because all the restaurants are closed, and I have a kidney transplant, and so I'm immunocompromised. I'm not going anywhere, right? So it was easy for us to allocate those funds into, let's double down on building the relationships with our most valued clients and friends. So investing in for this one, unlike live streaming, this has the opposite recommendation. It is better to have high quality and fewer quantity gifts. So if you have a choice between, okay, we can spend $50 on 100 customers, or we can spend $100 on 50 customers, definitely spend the 100 on the 50 on your top 50. That's actually another book on the back shelf here, right there, the orange one. Come on, where's it going? There it is. Right there is 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. The 80-20 rule, or also known as Pareto's principle. We've done YouTube videos on that. If you go to YouTube, type in Dick Polipnik or type in the 80-20 rule or Pareto's principle, you should be able to find it. It's an awesome video. And it talks about how 80% of your customer base accumulates 20% of your revenue, and vice versa, that 20% of your customer base accounts for 80% of your revenue. And it can be applied to headaches too. 20% of your customers, right, could potentially yield 80% of your headaches, your stress, your anxiety, the emails that you totally dread, coming into your inbox. So what the Pareto principle is saying is just cut off that portion of your clientele every year. So you shave off the bottom 20% or 10% or 5%, whatever you're comfortable with. Get rid of the ones that are the most headache. And then that way it's like, I have a ton of plants. I'm sure you can see a couple of them in the apartment here, right? One thing that is really interesting for plants is when they start to really grow big, the best thing you can do for them is actually prune them down, trim them down. And then that gives them room for growth, and you can help guide it in the direction that you want it to go. So if it's leaning too far to the right, you can trim it up. You can maybe spin it a little bit, put it towards the sun, right? So trimming off your clientele is actually something to consider. Maybe you feel like you were forced to trim off your clientele the last few months. Look at that as an opportunity to say, how can we double down on the relationships with our clients that stayed with us? How can we show them appreciation, gratitude, and build that long-term relationship? Because if you can stick with clients right now, if you can build that customer loyalty, whether you're a grocery store or a dentist or an e-commerce store, whatever that is, building those relationships right now are going to be huge. So that's book number 2. And then book number 3 is the brand new book, Built to Serve, by my good friend, Evan Carmichael. You can kind of see a picture of him if I put it closer. So just got this from Evan in the mail a while ago, signed it for me. So Evan has been on our show before, on the Online Growth System show. So if you want to see his episode, go to YouTube. I think is it on our Facebook page? I don't know. If you're watching on Facebook right now, you can browse and let me know in the comments if it's there or not. Otherwise, it for sure is on our YouTube channel. One of the best episodes we've ever recorded with a guest. It's just been fantastic. What we did is we kind of took the approach of, let's look at his origin story. Everybody knows Evan Carmichael. He's got like 2 million subscribers on YouTube. He's huge. He's a best-selling author like 5 times over. But we wanted to dive into like his origin story. How did he get to the point where he was a huge YouTuber? Nobody really knew pre-YouTube Evan. So that's what that episode is about. But anyway, back to the book, Built to Serve. How can you serve your customers, serve your clients, go above and beyond than you normally do? Okay. Whether that's, so I'll give you an example. There's a lot of food delivery apps right now that are doubling down on customer service. They're hiring more people to answer phones, answer questions, both for the end consumer, the people who are consuming the food, and both for the restaurants, right? So the restaurants that are making the food that's being delivered through their app. And that building that customer support, building that relationship, serving is going to be huge, because right now there's a lot of people who are getting on those platforms for the first time. They've maybe never ordered online before. They've never had food delivery before. So it's super important to leave that to have that first impression be a great one. Okay. Otherwise, what are they going to do? They're going to play with Grubhub, and they're going to play with Foodsby, and they're going to play with Uber Eats, and they're going to play with DoorDash and Bite Squad, and there's a dozen competitors out there. So how can you be the one that if this is the first time that they're playing with those platforms, how can you be the one that they stick with in the future, right? Because things build habits. People start to enjoy that. They're like, hey, I think I should order B-dubs or Panera Bread to get delivered once in a while. So how you do that is through customer support and serving, right? So another thing that they're doing is they're offering free deliveries, right? So that, again, can actually circle back to this book that I mentioned, right? So offering coupon codes. So it's offering that free delivery hits on the marketing principle of this book. And it hits on this because you're providing, you're offering that, you're serving your customer. So that's actually a double whammy. So if you can find where those pie charts, that Venn diagram pie chart, intersect, that's going to be a great marketing tactic for you. So those are 3 books that I wanted to talk about, and how we're implementing those with our clients. Is we're looking at our clients and saying, how can we take, the Uber Eats perspective of offering a free delivery, and how can we do that with your e-commerce business? How can we do that with your dentistry, with your, financial services company, with your hospital clinic? And we can, and then we're coming up with a big brainstorming strategy. We have their team in there. We have our team in there. Shout out to Adam for being a rock star on the online growth systems team the last few weeks, having those conversations. And then you execute on them, right? So that's so those are the wrap up things there. The next thing is I got some questions here that I'll pull up of people who have been emailing me. So this isn't one submitted from the live stream, but I typed this in ahead of time before the live stream because I had a lot of people on LinkedIn asking me this. What marketing is working the best right now with COVID-19? And that's anything that builds trust. Let's let that sink in for a second. Anything that builds trust, credibility, loyalty. Okay. You're in business for the long game. You're in business hopefully after COVID-19. So what you do today is going to have a huge impact on how customers and other businesses perceive your brand 6 months from now, a year from now, 18 months from now, years from now. People are going to look back at this moment as a time in history where there were winners and there were losers, right? There was boom and there was bust. And of course, there's, victim of circumstances if you're in an industry that just has no way of operating right now. My girlfriend's a cosmetologist. They were supposed to be going back to work on Monday here in Minnesota, and that got punted to the unforeseeable future. There is no date yet, right? So if you're in like something like the salon or the barber industry, a lot of those people are bumming right now because what's the point of marketing right now if there's no way to capitalize on revenue, right? I disagree. If you're a barbershop or if you're a salon and you continue to do marketing right now, that you're going to be the only salon, the only barber that's doing marketing. It's a blue ocean, right? Because all your competitors are thinking the same thing. They're thinking, why would I spend dollars on or effort or time on promoting my service when there's no way that I can realize revenue from that? That means if everybody's doing that there's nobody else that you're competing for eyeballs. So here's what you can do. Let's use the salon example. If you're a salon, obviously you don't want to say, let's buy the beach or the box color and from Walmart and ruin your hair. You know what I mean? you want to make recommendations that work, right? So my girlfriend is always showing me videos on YouTube of people just ruining their hair. They're doing box colors themselves, and it's a reaction video. They're like pulling out chunks of their hair because they screwed it up because they bleached it too long or something, right? If you're a salon right now and you can create content that shows you how to box color your hair the safe way, that video is probably going to do extremely well, right? Because everybody's seen, you could even put a montage there of people pulling their hair out, how to avoid this, and then it shows, a montage of people just balding because they, box colored their own hair without following a tutorial from a licensed professional like yourself, right? You can say, I'm going to teach you how to box color your hair from home, the safe way without losing your hair. And then that's the kind of content that people who watch that, number one, you're going to get a ton of authority. It's going to build up authority in you as a cosmetologist, in your brand, the salon that you work for, the business, whether you're for your employer, it's going to be huge, right? And then guess what's going to happen when salons do open back up? If people are looking to get their hair cut, they're going to think that person, that cosmetologist, they were constantly pushing out these live streams or these videos or these articles, this content of teaching me how to box color my hair the safe way when I was at home in quarantine. They're going to have an affinity towards working with you, right? They're going to want to, if they think you're going to be top of their mind because you helped them out when nobody else was, right? So building that kind of content is going to build that loyalty for when you can monetize afterwards. So that's a huge way to gain some market share right now, even though you're not realizing those capital gains, those profits in the short term. It's going to a month or 2 or 3, whenever it does, things do open back up. When it does roll around, that's when you're going to see those results, right? So you're in business for the long term, act like it, right? Okay. That's one of the questions I wanted to answer. So here's another thing that I wanted to talk about is budgets. Lots of companies are playing around with budgets, and to kind of echo what I was talking about earlier, it is more important to be in front of your customers now than it is ever. Just because you don't have, just because you might not be monetizing in the way that you're normally used to right now, doesn't mean that you shouldn't be putting dollars into, or time, if you're a solopreneur, putting effort into building your brand right now, because right now is where the champions are going to be coming through, right? This is like one of those rare moments in time where there's going to be the cream of the crop. The cream always rises to the top, or whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever that expression is. So if you look back at history, like 2008, 2009 economic, the Great Recession, right? Companies like Uber, Airbnb, they came out, those unicorns. A unicorn is $1 billion company, right? Those unicorns were born in that crazy time. Okay. Right when Airbnb was getting started, I just finished a couple months ago, I finished the book, The Airbnb Story. And they launched Airbnb during the economic, the Great Recession. And nobody's traveling, right? Nobody's traveling during a recession. But guess what? People are looking for, people who have to travel are looking for more affordable ways to stay and to travel. So they actually, and then when they did their marketing, and they did that kind of, those initiatives that established them as a new innovation, as a company that was changing the way that travel takes place. Same thing with Uber, right? So if those companies can be born in a Great Recession and turn themselves into $1 billion company, why can't you, right? So, and then to echo earlier what I said about budgeting, like for online growth systems, we have a meal budget that we're not using right now. So what do we do with that budget? We're putting it into gifting, right? So, and then what we also have, we normally put a lot of dollars into sponsoring Founders Live Minneapolis. They're not hosting in-person events right now, so there's no need for that amount of sponsorship dollars coming in every month. So what are we doing with those dollars? We're putting them into content creation. We're doing more live streams like this. We're pushing out, we're ramping up our editing team for the podcast that we're coming out with, so looking at where you're normally spending dollars that you could reallocate towards content creation, branding, stuff like that. So that concludes today's live stream. If you guys have any questions, I just wanted to kind of do this for fun today. I woke up this morning and I thought, I want to do a live stream and see, because there was a lot of people asking me questions on LinkedIn and emailing me about, how they could be marketing right now and what they could do to double down on building their brand. So I wanted to do this live stream. So I'll probably be sending this video to a couple of you that were asking those questions. So if you have any questions, reach out to me, Dick. My name is Dick Polipnik. Here's the little whoops right here. That's my name. Yeah, we're going to be doing these live streams once in a while to answer your Q&A in live format. So feel free to follow me on social media, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Facebook and on Twitter as well. That's where we're going to be doing these live streams. And then check out onlinegrowthsystems.com if you're interested in exploring having a strategy session of what you could be doing as a company to grow your business right now. We provide software development, website development, digital marketing and advertising, video production, although we're not able to go and film right now, so that's why we're doing a lot of live stream stuff with our clients. But yeah, so we do a lot of work in those realms. So if you're looking to build your company, build your brand in the digital realm, we are definitely the company for you. So our big value proposition is we help companies scale from 1 to 200 million through their digital efforts. So yeah, thank you for watching the live stream. Tune in again next week and ask some of the questions in the Q&A, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.